And there they go. A little bit of a delay between the streams, but that'll be fixed real quickly. X3 starts off with a bang, as most speed games you would hope to do, with a 36-second unskippable cutscene, because everybody loves those. Intro stage itself is not really too much to talk about on there. It's very straightforward. Pretty much just try to cause as little lag as possible. Try to use green shots along with dash lemons on the enemies if you can. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if you do cause a little bit of lag at that first enemy. The big part is in this middle section here after you take control at 0. Hey man, I just started running Mega Man 7, so I'm like stuck with 2.5 minutes of unskippable shit. And now we're on with 0. And you do have to be a little careful when you're charging with him, as he immediately has a 4-stage charge. And as you can see, I'm not sure if either of them are going to use Saber to boost themselves up. I don't know if they are. Pretty much just the same thing there. Climb up, try and damage boost into the wall with the spikes. And to kill Mac, pretty much just keep a shot in, fire one shot in the green charge, keep the second in reserve, fire that once you get to Mac, and then hit him with Saber and he'll be dead. And there actually is a little thing holding X up there, actually there's a little quirk with it where I don't believe you can kill it until Mac is done exploding. So you can't just hop up there and kill it as soon as you get the final shot on him. Into the only spot of RNG in the intro with the boss. Terra actually getting a little lucky on the punch there. At least on the initial one. He can pretty much just do what he wants as far as punching. Sometimes he'll do it away from you, sometimes he'll just constantly combo you like he's playing Street Fighter. Pretty okay fight for both of them, it seemed like. Once again, moving on to cutscenes. Terra has a slight lead. About a 2-second lead, so very slight. Now moving on to Buffalo stage. Probably one of the more interesting stages in the game movement-wise, just because of how buggy and weird everything is. You'll notice they're using the slopes as much as possible, since those give you a huge boost in speed. You want to dash on those as long as possible and dash jump at the very end of them and try and maintain that speed as much as you can. Wonderful empty room that you'll see the reason for later on, if you're not familiar with the game at least. Fortunately, Terra seemed neither of them got the kill. You can actually get through that gap right there and kill the enemy without taking a hit, but it is fairly precise and just slightly annoying. Another little strange little quirk to the ice here is that if you are moving left on the ice and jump, it will always count as a slope jump for some reason. I'm not even sure why that is, because it doesn't work on if you're moving right at all. Now, if you're playing the X Collection version or PS1 version, every single neutral jump in the game is a slope jump. You will always do a slope jump in that game. But we don't talk about that one. It's terrible. Now, moving on to Buffalo. Probably the most notably glitched boss in the game, as you can see Terra doing. There's a very strange bug in his AI where don't quote me on it, I'm not 100% sure on this, but from what I know, when you jump above him like that, it actually tricks him into thinking you're on the other side of him, so he'll just constantly ram himself into the wall trying to hit you as if you're over on the other side. You notice they're using full charge shots and not dash lemons, and that's because dash shots in this game actually do not work on bosses. Oh, fortunately, Terra actually missing the very last little jump there. Wow, they are almost directly tied. They are exactly tied. Okay. And as I was saying earlier, dash lemons in this game don't work on anything except normal enemies. They do not work on bosses. Terra has like a half-second lead, if that, now, due to that unfortunate little goof on Buffalo. That's okay. Moving on to Seahorse. Uh-oh. Oh dear. My internet is not having me. It's not having it right now. Okay, there it goes. Okay, moving on to Seahorse. One of the more movement-heavy stages of the game, I would say. At least in this first chunk of it. It's kind of a nightmare to do it correctly. As you can see with Khanster right there, missing that little jump right there is just a horrible pain. Terra taking his lead back. Khanster actually opting to go ahead and get a safety heart here. This is one of the... There are a handful of items that you can get without losing very much time, that being one of them. The heart here, the heart in Tiger, and the sub-tank in Rhino are the best items to get since they don't waste too much time. So they're usually good for runners to get if they're not fully confident in their endgame. By endgame, I mostly mean the Sigma fights because he's terrible. Terra's actually using the Buster instead of these. His weakness is Ice, but Terra's using the Buster as Ice is actually the weakness for the boss here, Seahorse. So Khanster is going to have a huge chunk of his ammo missing, unless he gets an ammo drop here, which would be very lucky. It's much quicker, but much, much less safe. Very good use of the vertical dash there. That's the exact reason it was put in this game, is for so much vertical rooms in this game. More than any other Mega Man X game, there's a lot of vertical stage design in X3 for some reason. Not that that's a bad thing, but it can get a little tedious sometimes. And Terra now in the Seahorse fight. If you notice, suddenly Seahorse's health is almost completely gone. That's because his iframes are glitched, wherein if you hit him with his weakness, the latter half of his iframes, or a good chunk of them at the end there, will no longer function at all, so you can just mash him down to death almost instantly. And it is a variable in how much time he's vulnerable for. The initial stun shot you get on him, the higher you get that shot on him, the more time you'll have to mash his health down. So if you get him at the very crown of his jump, you can take off a good half to 2/3 of his health. But if you hit him when he's just on the ground, you're gonna get maybe 1 or 2 extra hits in there, if that. Now, again, everyone's favorite part of speedrunning, unskippable cutscenes. This one much more obnoxiously long than the one in the intro. Taking a good look at our buddy, Mysterious Maverick. Who could he ever be? No one knows. Cosmic Warrior is currently on point with the time differences, more so than I am. For Terra, he's going into Rhino, which is, in my opinion, probably the most dangerous stage in the game. They're both going to it third. Outside of Doppler 2, which you'll see later on, you'll very quickly see why that stage is so dangerous. This stage, everything just hits like a complete bomb. Everything could two-shot you, more or less. Terra going ahead and getting the sub-tank there, and as you can see, that one is just really right there. There's no reason to not get it if you're not fully confident in your Sigma fights. Terra, unfortunately, getting bit here, and any percent bit in Rhino is just about the worst thing you could have because you really want to conserve as much health as possible. Now we really aren't going to be able to tell who has a lead and who doesn't. Very, very nice job dodging the orbs there, actually. Those things are a little awkward to dodge. Pretty good fight on him, though. Didn't get hit at all. And the reason you don't want to get hit on him is the mid-boss you'll see in Khanster here. The method of killing him involves damage boosting onto the lower half of his body and just mashing him down like a madman. And you'll see Khanster taking very, very quick care of him. And that's about why you want to have as much health as possible in there, because he's already missing half his health, and this last section of this level is just brutal. There are a lot of two-shot deaths after that point. Ooh, Khanster taking a hit on one of the boulders. That is a huge amount of damage. Playing a little bit safe with the ice here. He actually could opt to get a health pickup, which unfortunately only got a small one there. And the ice weapon in here, it's very good that that happens to be the first weapon you get, as it is the most useful in the game by a long shot. If the enemy spawns on the ceiling or the ground and you kill it with ice, it is a guaranteed health drop no matter what. Same with acid, but acid drops guaranteed ammo drops, which can also be useful in some situations. Be very careful here with Rhino, as I believe he is past the threshold of a one-shot death. I believe Rhino does 5 damage on contact. Yep. Okay, Khanster taking care of Rhino. You can't really tell who's in the lead anymore due to the RNG of it. Bit showing up for Terra, not showing up for Khanster. And when you see a lot of runners with this game, if they're using splits, you're going to see a split for Intro, Buffalo, and then Seahorse, and then they'll have the Mavericks 3 through 5 combined into one split, and 6 through 8 combined into one split. And that's because Bit and Bite are completely random as to where they show up. Bit will always show up in the 3rd, 4th, or 5th stage, and Bite will always show up in the 6th, 7th, or 8th stage. If they don't show up, then you've done something amazing, and I will love you for it if you can replicate it. Moving on to the stage that has probably the biggest, most significant point of RNG in this game with the boss fight later on. That was a very strange pose to enter in that door with. Terra actually getting the little dragonfly clip there. And that happened because X's, when he's vert dashing like that, his hitbox is actually smaller than it normally would be, so he can squeeze right through that little tiny gap. Unfortunately, neither of them were able to get the one cycle kill on here. Nice recovery from Terra there, though. Not really a huge deal if you miss that. It's only a couple or a few seconds or so. Probably around 5. It's not a huge deal. But it's still really nice to get it in one cycle. Looking at about a 19-second lead. At least that's as far as we can tell, but we don't really know for sure unless Khanster gets bit, which he did not. Looks like he's actually going to get bit in Catfish, which is honestly probably the best place you can get him. And these caterpillars here, you really need to be careful with them because they do 8 damage on contact, so they are immediate 2-shot death. Noticing a trend here. two-shot deaths in X3. It's there to stay. Very strange pattern here from Tiger for Khanster. Not a bad one. He's not dashing, so that's always nice. And once he's past, I think, a little below half health, I think it's about third health, he will start doing an invincibility charge as a desperation attack. Yeah, there it is for Khanster. Thankfully, Khanster actually had a very, very good fight there for Tiger. Actually, looks like Terra is also having almost pretty much the best fight you can get with Tiger possible. I believe that was a 0 dash for Terra, which is not very common to see. Even a 1 dash is pretty rare. Especially in any percent where you don't really have a charged boss weapon as a backup. So there really is nothing you can do if when it's in any percent you start dashing. Into another very dangerous stage just because spikes everywhere, multiple 2-shot death enemies. Well, not 2-shot, more like 3-shot. The red dudes there, I believe, do 6 damage on body contact. Everything else is not very much. Thankfully, there are a lot of ceiling and ground-based enemies here that you can farm health off of, so it is a little mitigated. But you do need to be very careful around the spikes. We'll be able to tell who's actually in the lead here now that Khanster is going to be fighting a bit up ahead. Unless he somehow doesn't spawn, and I would love for that to happen someday. Oh, there he is. I still hope somebody finally figures out how to way to manipulate that. That'd be fantastic. It actually looks like Terra is in the lead. Yeah, when he starts throwing those orbs, generally the best thing you want to do is to quickly dash into his body and just take body contact damage. It's completely safe. He only does 1 damage, even without the armor on body contact for whatever reason. Compare that to, I believe, the 2 or 3 he does on his rushdown attack and the 4 that his orbs do. Thankfully, Khanster is able to farm some health here, so it's not too bad. I missed what you're talking about, JWK Tiger. What are you talking about? What does the task do? In a moment, you'll notice. Ooh, that might have been that might be an 8 drill. So, with Catfish, generally what you want to do is just as soon as you get in there, you want to hammer them with the full charge shots as much as you can. And the reason you want to do that is because the iframes for the charge shots are very, very, very short compared to the drills where they're like 3 seconds, I believe. Also, actually having a pretty okay fight there. Oh no, that's just me making a joke, basically. I just hope someday someone figures out a way to manipulate the game into thinking you've already killed and fought bit and bite. But no, that's not possible right now. Khanster almost had a 4 drill there. And there actually is a way you can manipulate Catfish. If you have enough health, you can actually make him continuously hop into the wall over and over again while you damage boost into him. And Justin, who you probably have seen if you've been here before commentating and seen some of his matches, has actually managed to get a 0 drill fight doing that. I believe he has a video of it, which is probably the only person to ever do that in RTA. Although technically speaking, a 1 drill fight is the fastest because his iframes do reset as soon as he starts his desperation. Not a huge difference. In the Cosmic Warrior, there's only a 21-second difference. He is actually a massive help right now. It's a little hard to keep track of stuff. 21 seconds is not a huge difference for this game. I did not see if Terra got bite or not, so we're again going to be a little... The moment, and whatever difference they had when they started this stage was the real difference, but now I'm not sure because I don't believe Terra got bite here, so it's again going to be a little skewed. "21-second difference after Catfish, which is, that's the real time difference at that time, because they both have fought at that point. Terra playing it a little bit more safe with Vile. Usually the optimal strat in any percent with Vile is to start with 4 charge shots on the mech and just do the rest of the fight between the mech and Vile himself with his weakness. However, if you want to be a little bit more safer, you can fire more than 4 charge shots. It's completely fine. It's really not going to lose you a lot of time compared to, say, running out of ammo and not being able to get the saber later, which would be a disaster. And the reason he gave the saber is because Vile only dies and explodes if you kill him with his weakness, which is one of 2 items: the Neon Splasher, which is what he just used, or Spinning Blades, which is what you get from Crawfish. If you accidentally run out of ammo and kill him with a Buster, he just teleports away, and he actually kills the mini-boss that Zero has to fight to give X the saber later on. It'll make Doppler 2 significantly easier, but at the cost of not being able to 2-shot all the bosses after that point, which is much, much slower. The only time he's purposefully skipped is in max percent best ending, which is a very odd category. It's a very long-lived category, though. Moment. What was that dodging from Khanster? Wow. Never seen that. Khanster getting through with just 1 ammo left, which is about what you should have. Well, optimally you're going to have no ammo left. Your final shot, your kill shot on Vile will be your last shot. Terra going to be moving up to crush Crawfish. Unfortunately, you do have to kill this, and it is unskippable. Crush Crawfish is glitched in much the same way as Seahorse is, although he is much easier to abuse. If you hit him with the Triad Thunder, he has a guaranteed period of about 120 frames, or 2 seconds flat, where he is completely vulnerable to taking damage every second. Or every frame, rather. So you can pretty much hit him with Triad, switch to Buster, and then mash him down to about half health, or below half health even. As you can see, Khanster is making very good use of that. Just immediately going after him. Getting a very nice 3-cycle fight on him. No damage. And I don't remember if what the task does with that fight, but I believe it might be a 1-cycle. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'll need to watch that. Or not, Khanster didn't get those in 3-cycle. Terra did. I'm getting... My mind's all over the place right now. I'm sorry. I'm embarrassing myself in front of hundreds. Khanster does in the fight here. Terra's on one of the most straightforward stages in the game, where it's made very quickly apparent just how good the spinning blades are, as they pretty much one-shot almost every normal enemy in the game, if not 2-shot. Khanster also having a pretty nice fight with Crawfish there. Looks like Terra's going to get Bite and Hornet, so we won't know who is fully ahead until then. Going to Burt Dash here. There. Now you see how much damage the red dudes there do. 6 damage on contact, which is pretty devastating if you don't have a lot of health, especially in any percent. Not much of a problem. He's able to get up there just fine anyway. Khanster now making his way into Beetle. Taking a little bit of a goofy hit there. And just like that, 2 hits from those red enemies, and that's it. Already almost dead. Which is a pretty good indication of just how tough this game can be to run. If you start out on any percent, it's very tough. Even 100%, the first stage being Rhino is not too fun. Thankfully getting a large health drop there, so we should be pretty safe here. And Beetle is... well, Beetle's basically a potato with legs. He jumps at you. That's about it. He can actually, in low percent, or not even in low percent, if you try to do a challenge run like Buster only, he's actually fairly difficult, since he can do a lot of different things. Well, not a lot of different things, but the things he does do, once again, they can 2-shot you. His body contact damage is excessive. His orbs, depending on how many times they bounced off the walls, I believe the max they do is 8 damage. And it's just not a whole lot of fun. But if you use his weakness on him, you can just constantly get him into an AI loop where he just jumps at you like an idiot. Which, I will say this, every single boss in this game has an AI loop with their weakness. They will always do one specific thing over and over again if you hit him with a weakness. Not sure why that is, but that's just how it is with this game. It was not very well designed. A little bit of a goof there. Be careful on landing that ledge there, because then you won't get down in time to get all the enemies off screen. And that particular section, if you're not quick enough about it, is very, very laggy. Now we're going to see that good old-fashioned CX4 chip, because Capcom had to make everything expensive and not make very many cartridges. And this particular mini-boss is actually the only one in the game with functioning iframes, unless you count Mac. So you have to you do have to space your shots a little bit with him, but it only takes about 5 or 6 acid shots, and he moves in a fixed pattern. Always jumps when he shoots you, always goes left to right. Moving on to the hangar section, which is one of the laggiest parts of the game. This entire stage just has a lot of that in it. Terra's actually going to put the health down there. Not a big time loss, and it makes everything a little safer, especially for Hornet, who's not a terribly easy boss. Terra is now going to be fighting Bite. Seems like he's actually taking a pretty commanding lead here over Khanster, but with the way this game's in-game is, it's pretty much any man's game still. Checking out how that was going to be a pauseless. There is a specific way Khanster actually accidentally hitting the boss there with his small droplets. Unfortunate. And there's a way to kill Bite like that without pausing, but it's very specific. And I will say, if you're listening, only fire 2 normal lemons at those boxes. The charge shots just cause lag. Let's see, he got in the door at 29-23. There is quite a bit of a difference here, but like I said, Doppler 2 still exists. Doppler in general still exists. All of the stages are a complete nightmare to try and go fast in. And even Hornet himself can be, well, you just saw what happened. 8 damage. So it's looking like about, what was that, 30, 31, 32, 33, about a 34, 35 second difference between the two of them, which is not big. Ooh, be a little bit more careful there, and there you go. Khanster pretty much just playing with Hornet, just dodging him. Just to be sure. Teleport was 30-24. Khanster's actually having a fairly good Hornet here. And with Hornet, you notice he's not actually using his real weakness. His real weakness is actually gravity well, but when it does, it freezes him in place and does damage in increments of 1. It does 4 damage overall. Yes, just to be sure. About a 32, 33 second difference. A little bit of a better fight than Terra had. But with Hornet, instead of Gravity Well, you use S-Blade, which still does 2 damage, but isn't technically counted as a weakness. It's just basically a soft weakness, where it does the 2 damage, but it doesn't give you the full weakness iframe, so you can really just hammer on him very quickly. Gravity Beetle actually has a similar thing with Parasite Bomb, which in low percent is very nice to have. At least in the refights. Yeah, Cosmic's on top of the time differences. In this stage, as you can already see, it wasn't enough to put spikes there, they had to make them move. Because Capcom hates everybody. I'm actually starting to lose my voice a little bit. And saw Terra already do it, but the mini-boss here, his name is D-Rex, I believe 2000, making his cameo from X1. Terra actually going to go ahead and farm a little bit of health there. Got a lot instead. Good luck on the drops there, and we'll see what he did is he jumps into his face after firing a full charge shot, and then puts 2 ice back there. And the reason you want to get behind him like that is because you are forced into a cutscene where X walks across the room towards 0. You can't control it, there's nothing you can do about it, and you want to be as far behind that boss as possible to get the shortest distance watch. I'll apologize if I sound a little strange now. My voice is actually starting to go out, and I don't know why. And with this particular boss, another extremely dangerous fight. His sword slashes do 8 damage, so that's a 2-shot kill, and his grab attack does 18 in 3 increments of 6. So he grabs you, does 6 damage, he punches you, or throws you in the ceiling, does 6 damage, he brings you back down and punches you again, and does another 6 damage. So that's a 1-shot kill if he grabs you, unless you have at least 2 hearts. You can take 2 shots from the swords, but you still have to be very careful about them. And now, Terra now moving on to Doppler 2, by far the most dangerous stage in the game, since basically everything wants you dead immediately, as quick as possible. He took 2 small hits there, and he's already almost half down on health. That's a pretty good example right there. Body contact on those guys does 8. I believe the lasers do 4. Nice. That gets down there, flips off the ledge, and dashes. There's an air dash and switches to 0, which he's now going to use to go ahead and get the saber. And this is why you want to kill Bile. So we're going to have to play a little safe here. Terra not having much issues with the Mosquito, unfortunately. Oh no, I got a pretty okay pattern. Mosquito actually has a massive amount of RNG on him. Overall, it's not going to lose you much time, but it's something like a 30 RNG, a 30 part RNG sequence. I believe it's every 4 frames it has a new RNG seed where he can go in any direction he wants. And the ideal pattern is having him go straight at you and immediately kill Zero. But sometimes he likes to just go off course or just sit there and hump Zero like he's a weirdo. Both of them actually got fairly good patterns there, not a whole lot of fidgeting around. But I've seen points where that mosquito has just sat on someone and wasted up to 8 seconds before. Terra's actually going to play it safe here. If Khanster can get a first try elevator climb, this is his chance to actually pretty much take the lead. Terra instead opting to go ahead and ride the snail is much, much safer. But it does lose about a minute over the climb. We're lucky on that health drop there. Go ahead and reset that enemy there. A little bit more careful with him. Ooh, I thought he was going to take a bonk. I would go ahead and farm health and then go back. There you go. Hopefully Khanster can get the climb first try here. Nice. This is definitely by far the most difficult part of this entire run. He got up there, had a partial climb. Not full, but you know, it's better than nothing. That definitely helped him close the gap on, actually might be trying to get a vert here. Oh wow, very nice. He pretty much completely closed the gap between the two. Almost completely caught up, even with only a partial climb. That was very nice, actually. Ooh, gotta get away from that. You don't want to let any of his attacks touch you, because that particular boss also does a boatload. Not too far behind here. I think he's caught up by about, what, 10-20 seconds there? 708. More than that, even. Only 4 seconds behind now. He caught up quite a bit. And now it's pretty much just up to Saber Rush onto what a couple of specific bosses want to do, namely Tiger, Beetle, and Rhino. More Beetle than anything because he can waste a lot of time. Explosion skip is not possible in low percent or any percent. It's only possible in 100%. In order to explosion skip, you have to have the beam saber, which requires you to have the buster capsule. So technically, if you could get the buster capsule and still do any percent, but it would waste a lot of time. Both of them getting very solid hornet kills. I'm not sure if either of them do the quick kill on the Crawfish and Seahorse here. Seahorse especially, considering that one's actually very precise. There is a specific quick kill you can do with the Saber that allows you to one-shot Seahorse and Crawfish. However, Seahorse's is very precise and incredibly annoying to try and do. A little bit of strange kill there. Pretty much what Mdoy said. In any percent, you get the boots. Optimally, you get the boots upgrade, and you get the Saber. In low percent, you don't get anything. You pretty much just have the boss weapons, and that's it. That's why nobody runs that category, because it is very difficult. Very nice Buffalo kill from Terra there. Very good Tiger from Khanster. Any percent does have a little leeway where you can get a couple of extra hearts or sub-tank or any of that, just to be a little bit more safe. And if you're starting out running the game, I would suggest getting numerous items just to familiarize yourself with everything. Very good catfish there on Terra. Oh dear. Swing! There you go. Yeah, the Sigma fights in low percent are a complete nightmare. They're very difficult to do, since you're pretty much stuck using the Buster on the final form of Sigma, and that's no fun. Very lucky on the health drop there. Very, very nice beetle from Terra. No rainbows. I don't believe there are any X3 runs after this. I'm not sure about Super Metroid or anything else. Khanster also getting good luck on beetle there. Terra, unfortunately, falling down to the floor. Yeah, there you go. Last race of the night. Which I would assume there will be more Super Metroid races tomorrow. And maybe even some more X3 tomorrow. Both of them having very solid rushes here. Terra just getting so lucky with these drops. I believe they both have 3 bosses left. Ooh, and there's why Tiger can be a bit of a douche. He can block the saber. He's one of the few bosses that is pretty much immune to it at some point. If it does, the saber is counted as a stage of the charge shot, so Tiger can block it with his claws if you swing it. So that actually will catch up. Khanster in his Tiger fight earlier was pretty much dead on with it. You gotta be careful with Crawfish in the saber because when he throws his claw, it actually can eat the saber and just completely block it from doing any damage. It's absolutely infuriating when that happens. Wow, these almost completely synced explosions here. Look at this. Unfortunate. Pretty much only separated by seconds. They would be dead tied if Khanster had not tried to pick up the health there, but I think they're actually both just going to go ahead and get this, which I do not blame them. Doppler is another boss that hits like an absolute truck if he actually hits you. And I'm not sure if either of them are going to go for the quick kill on Doppler, since it is very dangerous to do that. Very nice kill on for Terra. Same as Khanster. Not separated by much here. Only by about 3 seconds. So this is still, either of them could snatch this from the other. Pretty much just up to the Sigma fights now. They are separated by 1 second. And with Sigma, thankfully you don't need full health to use the saber, as I'm sure you've noticed, or else this Sigma fight would be one of the worst things in the entire series. And it's pretty much up to whoever gets a first try Sigma here. Unfortunately, Khanster missing the neon there. Widening the gap there with Terra a little bit. Very nice from Terra. Same with Khanster. First try, no damage on Captain America there. They actually both did that faster than I did it, so shame on me. And now comes to the worst part of the run, or the best, depending on your perspective of it. Yep. Dash, shoot, and jump and swing. There you go. I believe Terra might be on pace for a nice PB here. Okay for that Khanster. Oh dear, this is not good. Oh wow, nice. Oh, you got really lucky on that. It's like Terra's pretty much got this clinched. Okay, that was a bit of a clincher. Terra sneaking in there. I believe this is a PB for Terra. Very nice. 45-35. Bit of a late split there. I gotta bring attention to Khanster's Kaiser kill there. That was a little close. Very nice race. Not separated by much. Pretty much it came down to that Kaiser fight more than anything. GG. Very much GG to both. And congrats on Terra for the PB. Race spots. Viewing times for Terra is a 45-48 on race spot. Khanster with a 46-06, so less than a 20-second difference according to race spot. And unfortunately, that is the last run of the day. There will be more runs tomorrow. I know Super Metroid will have some runs tomorrow. Plenty of people in that tournament. Hopefully we'll have some X3 matches tomorrow as well, since the deadline is only 2 days away. Well, technically only 1 day away now. Khanster coming here for the post-race interview, which I have never done, so I'm going to make a fool of myself. Oh yeah.
Hello.
Hello, Khanster.
Oh god.
Race. Please never do that on Kaiser Sigma again.
I stepped one little itty bitty too far.
My stream froze right before your last saber, and there was a mine that was probably a couple pixels away from you, and it would have killed you. That was
mine, a few rockets, and yeah.
That fight was, it was impressive, but it was also terrifying. Please never do that again.
So, how big was the difference between both of us for the majority of the race?
At the most, it was around 30 seconds. 30 to 40 seconds. And
so you think if I did fully skip, I would have taken it?
You may have been able to take it, I would say. The partial skip actually saved you about 30 seconds. You were behind by about 32 or 34 seconds.
Yeah, because I did the partial skip and then did the other neon from the one on the left.
Yeah, and once that was over, on boss death, you were actually only 4 seconds behind him, so you saved quite a bit of time. And I believe when you both hit this stage select for the final Sigma fight, you were actually only 1 second apart. It was pretty much just came down to Kaiser. And I believe
Kaiser
had clocked at only like an 18 or 19 second difference.
Jeez, Kaiser. What a jerk.
Pretty much up to Kaiser on that one. Very close race either way.
Yeah, cause I didn't want to go for a full alley skip, get it up to the top, and just drop.
And yeah, and just you get that last neon, and all of a sudden it just doesn't want to do a vert.
Because X3 is phenomenal for one thing and one thing only, and we all know it. Dropped inputs.
I'm actually... Was the partial skip on purpose, or was it... It actually seemed like one of the snails kind of dropped down a little bit too fast there.
It was kind of on purpose, and yeah, that was a little bit too as well. Because I'm like, I'm going to be a little short.
And best to just go with the backup where you know you're going to still save time, instead of risking a death and falling all the way back down.
Yeah, that's why I was practicing alley skip before we went up.
Someday I will learn it.
It's not that hard, it's easy. It's easy peasy.
You underestimate just how stupid and bad I am at easy things.
You know a neon, right?
Oh yeah, I know how to neon. It's I could do the whole thing, but it's the weapon swapping. At the very last jump, that weapon swapping on the first one like that.
Here's what I'll say to everybody is don't swap too fast. Swap one way,
What on
then
earth?
swap the other way. Don't try to cancel it like you'd normally cancel weapons.
That's a fantastic Mega Man face on Terra's screen. He looks very upset. Why are you upset, Mega Man? You PB'd. What are you doing?
I was 23 seconds off PB earlier.
Both of you seem like you're having pretty solid runs all the way through. It's just that Kaiser.
Kaiser's a jerk.
One single step out of place, and it's pretty much like, well, what do you do now?
I'm just glad I didn't get hit by, what's it called, Sigma America.
Yeah, that's both of you had actually really, really nice Captain America fights.
It was just hard to, like, I was listening to the whole cast, but I'm like, I couldn't tell where we were in reference.
Yeah, it was a little confusing all the way up until the Doppler stage. It's just because you both got bitten by in completely different stages.
Like, I was expecting, oh, I'm gonna get bit where I always get him in Rhino. It's like, nope.
Yeah, unfortunately, Terra did get him in Rhino, but bitten Rhino is the worst. It's just no fun.
Yeah, and I got him in Catfish.
Yeah, you got him in the best place possible, pretty much. It doesn't matter how much damage you take there, as long as you don't die. There's plenty of enemies to get health off of right after him.
Yeah.
At the moment, I think that's...
But I think I did catch up sometime. I think I probably had a better God car than Terra did. Because I looked over and saw. I
think your Doppler stages largely were better outside of just that Kaiser fight. I'm pretty sure you made up time on Doppler 1. Doppler 2, you did the partial skip and made up a massive amount of time.
Did he not even go for it?
No, he rode the snails all the way up. Which, I mean, hey, it's safer and he PB'd, so...
So if I probably went for full skip, I had it.
If you had gone for it and gotten a full, the full skip first try, you probably actually would have won the race. If not, been much closer, within 5 seconds at the most.
How close were we leaving Doppler 2?
4 seconds apart. Entering Doppler 2, you're about 32 seconds apart, so you made a pretty good chunk of time there.
See, boys and girls, that's why we do Alex Skip.
Yep, that is a free 50 minutes, 50 minute, oh yes. We're going into the negatives, boys. So fast we transcend time. That is a pretty quick 50 to 60 second time save there. But it is also extremely dangerous, and it's pretty difficult, in my opinion. And for that, I believe that is it. No more races tonight. Hopefully, plenty more tomorrow between.
I think I have one more race to get done with Shao Zero, and then I should be into brackets.
You got this, easy peasy.
Yeah.
Little did we know, Shadow Zero has been practicing behind our backs, and he's going to pull a 38 out of nowhere.
And get world record. Bring out Luis.
Just absolutely kill the category. Just dead. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Like I said, we'll more than likely have more X3 races tomorrow. Definitely more Super Metroid. And I think that's about it.
And a good night.
And again, GG to Khanster and Terra. I'm some weirdo that kidnapped off the street. I don't know what I'm doing here.
Good night, guys.